how long have you been in like the food industry and stuff?
So I got my first like actual official restaurant job when I was 15.
Because you were like independent really early.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, I moved out whenever I was 16 years old, and I moved in with my brother. Him and I were kind of had our own little place, and then he ended up getting married, and it was a whole shit show.
and then you got married.
Well, I moved out and then got married. But no, I've been on my own for a little bit. I've had a lot of jobs, but I started out first ever job officially because I kind of like had worked in some places like not officially before, kind of under the table.
Yeah.
But no, I was working at this like Mediterranean restaurant, like a mom and pop in Fayetteville, and it was like I think it taught me everything I need to know about how not to be treated as an employee. Because since I was young, I wasn't a server necessarily, but I was still expected to serve just with I didn't get any of the tips. We didn't get to keep any of our tips because I wasn't a server. I was a cashier. So I'd bring in their food in the front, call it out, and then I'd go and bring it out to them, take care of them and all that stuff. And they would tip me. I put it in the jar, and then my boss would take that jar and take it into the office.
What a dick.
Yeah. So I learned to make sure I watch where the money goes in restaurants. But yeah, no, I started very young and it taught me a lot of lessons. They were kind of, I think the worst thing sometimes when it comes to working in a lot of different places, or worst or best, you notice different levels of management and how people will treat you, whether it's like corporate or local or like, they think they can get away with more things when it's local, but when it's corporate, they have a structure and then, they just have to get more innovative on how to treat you like shit. Yeah. I'm not saying that every place I've worked I have been, but most of the time that's kind of how it is. I'm kind of lucky now to have a job where like it feels like, they say like, oh yeah, we care about you, and they do. Like the place I worked at before I'm working now, they kind of had this big, like whenever like what really drew me to them, they'd be like, oh yeah, we're a family. We're really big about family.
Red flag.
Yeah. Boom. I'm like, oh, but especially at the time too, I had been like, I was living here by myself. My family's like, who knows where. I think at the time that they were moving to Alabama. So I knew I was going to be away from them. I hadn't seen them in a while. I can't really afford to drive up there. And, COVID peaked that time, like kind of heading towards the end. I was lacking that. So I feel like they kind of played on that a little bit. Like, oh, we want you as an employee. We'll be your family. And I kind of took that really personally. And I was like, oh, people care about me. This is awesome. They don't. They didn't. They did not. They were kind of just assholes a lot, and I realized they were just not the best people to be working under, and they kind of did that similar thing that I noticed whenever I was younger. They move your money around in a very suspicious way, and you're not seeing all like the fruits from your labor. So I think that's why I left. I like just was one day I had gotten into it with one of who I guess the other owner of the restaurant, and she like had like cursed me out in front of guests, and like I was crying. It was just a very inappropriate situation, and I was just like, I don't see why I had to go that far. I apologize, though I strongly believe I didn't do anything wrong. I was just, mistakes happen, but kind of demeaning me, or not, like kind of just breaking me down in front of people was kind of crossing a line, but I was willing to forgive it. And she was like, okay, yeah, cool. And they were just like, they're like, yeah, you have an attitude problem. And I was like, because I don't like being treated like shit? Yeah, no, I'm out. And I left. Yeah. And they had a whole week scheduled, and I was like, I'm gone. I just dipped.
Yeah. You gotta, people who don't understand that you just treat everybody the same, like with the same amount of respect. Nice.
Just like that. Yeah. I tried to turn away, but you just heard it.
Yeah. No, like, I mean, there's a saying that, you treat the CEO the same way as you treat the janitor or whatever. And that was one of the things that about customers in restaurants, I never really understood how they can get so angry about something so simple. Well, maybe that's why, because it seems really simple.
It's
but like you can't understand.
Dissociative anger. It's where like you take all of your anger for the day and pass it on to someone lower than you. Yeah. So it's like your boss gets yelled at home, goes to work and yells at you. You then go to a restaurant and your server messes something up, so you yell at them, which causes them to go home and yell. It's like this weird. There's like a psychological term for it where people just pass their anger along to the next person instead of just dealing with it themselves.
Hey, hope you enjoyed that clip. Full episodes of the Small Stuff Podcast are available on YouTube and wherever it is you get your podcasts. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, all the things, links in the description. We'll see you later.